Hey, Tammy, can you see and hear me? Because it's saying that my internet connection is down. Hold on a second. Because I can see you. Hold on a second. I know they're working outside. They better not disconnect my webinar. I will be hot. Hold on a minute. Okay, say something for me.
Hey, how are you?
I am fine. I can hear you fine. Okay.
Mm.
Hold on, let me check Facebook. Says that we are live, but it always says that we're live and we're not. Hold on a minute. Okay, Wi-Fi is back up. Okay, everything's looking good. I'm gonna go back on mute for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Tammy, stop frowning. Hi.
I can't. I'm like, I don't see. I see you like in a very, very small square now. I don't see anything. So I was like, what happened?
Maybe your screen shrunk. Maybe you're in. You need to go to the expanded view. Oh, I missed you too, love. We got to get up. We got to get up. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being patient as we get started. Tammy, right now looks like it is you and I. You and I.
Okay. Yeah, it was like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you on Facebook Live. Oh, you said it was interrupted. You turned it off? You turned off the Facebook Live?
No, wait, I'm actually turning it on now. I had it set up, but not actually live yet.
Oh.
And on my page, I'm getting ready to play the intro, so I had to switch it up. All right, it says we're live on Facebook, so I'm going to have to trust that we are. And I'm going to go back to my page in a minute. So I am going to play the introduction, and then I'm going to introduce you as a motivational speaker, and then I'm going to let you have the floor to go ahead and introduce yourself and begin.
Okay.
There's Janika.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Janika. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, this is Janika.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the platform.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looking forward to hearing from you today. I'm going to play the intro, and then we are going to begin with Tammy, okay?
Awesome.
while I start this doggone cough, and I've had a cough for all week. It came out of nowhere. I love you ladies' hair. Everybody's all natural. With your braids and stuff. I like. All right, ladies, we got 3 minutes. Two minutes. If you all are talking and something happens where you cannot see or hear me, just keep going, okay?
Welcome to the 2018 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's International Webinar. This is our 5th and final year for this webinar, but we are bringing you dynamic speakers each Saturday in the month of August. Our webinar begins promptly at 4 p.m. That is Central Standard Time. You must be a registered guest in order to get the webinar information. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to helping you change your mind, change your life.
Hey everyone, this is Rhonda McAlister, and we are live for the 2018 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's International Webinar. I have with me right now Tammy Boone, who is going to go first for us. So I would like to introduce her. She's going to do her. She's going to bring our motivational piece today. So I would like to introduce you to Miss Tammy Boone.
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome, and thank you for tuning in. I hope that everyone is doing well. As Ms. Rhonda stated, my name is Tammy. I am a public speaker as well as a certified professional coach. I am the owner and founder of Purposed by Design, and I am excited about the opportunity to speak on the 2018 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's International Webinar. The title alone of this webinar hits home to me. It's very personal because I realized that I had to change my mind so that I could change my life, so that I could live a better life. So what I hope to do today is share with you pieces of me and hopefully demonstrate to you audibly how I came through or went through that transition. So what I wanted to start with first was I wanted to give you a little bit of history. So this talk is going to be more about things that happened or transpired in my life, but I'm hoping that what I've gone through in my life can help you to come around things that are holding you up, blocking you, hindering you in your life. So I want to start with, like I said, a little bit of history, and I'm going to take you back to not too long ago, where my relevance was dependent upon the opinion of other people. I literally fit the textbook definition for somebody who sought validation from others to justify my existence. As a matter of fact, let me be frank, let me be real with you. I struggled with me, and my struggle was housed in my inability to identify with me. I did not know who or why I was. You may ask why I didn't know who or why I was. I want to let you know that I entered this world with no actual point of reference. And what I mean by that is my mother died when I was a newborn. My father abandoned me when I was a toddler. And as a result of my father's abandonment, I was separated from my siblings. So you can clearly see through that illustration that I had a weak link. So now that you know I did not know my mother, I didn't really know my father, and I was coming into knowing my siblings. What you fail to realize, or what you do not know, is that I was fighting for my identity. I was fighting for my life. I didn't know who I was, why I was. So I needed some point of reference to be able to identify with who I was. I didn't have any type of affiliation with my biological connection. The fact of the matter is, I was here, but how I got here, I had no clue. Or who I was connected to, shall I say, I had no clue. So at the age of about 10 or 11, while I was in the loving homes of my relatives, I began to feel something, and that something was a yearning for a connection to my mother, to my father, to my siblings that I did not know. And that yearning turned into an overwhelming influence of my thoughts and my beliefs. Now, what happens here is where the transition starts to take place, because what I initially thought of myself is not what I believed I was. But how many of you guys know that if not addressed, repeated thoughts become your beliefs? So nevertheless, that's what happened to me. What I thought I was, I became. And that's worthless. I just felt I was worthless. I had no point of reference, nobody to connect with. I was struggling to know who I was connected to. So in my struggle, in my search, I began to grab at any and everything that I could so that I can find me and search for me. And the only thing that I was able to obtain in that search was DNA. Now, we all know that DNA is a genetic material that provides instruction for our life, for the development of life. So the only thing that DNA could tell me about me was that I had brown hair, was that I had brown eyes, my shape of my nose, my height. You get where I'm going. DNA could not tell me who I was connected to. All it could provide me was my bloodline, not my lifeline. I knew that I got here because of conception, but what I did not know was who was responsible for my being here. Not being able to identify with me created an internal battle within. My mind constantly brewed with negative thoughts of why am I here? Who am I? Why does nobody want me? Why does no one love me? I mean, just a repetitive churning of these thoughts over and over and over. I questioned everything about me, including my existence. In my mind, my mother died because of me. My father abandoned me because he didn't want me. And I was separated from my siblings because they didn't love me. So I lived the majority of my life in this place called irrelevance, because I was so full of emotions and feelings that those emotions and feelings snowballed into one thing known as irrelevance. And that's where I stayed for the majority of my life, that place called irrelevance. So not only did I not know who and what I was or why I was, now I was living a life full of resentment, anger, bitterness, betrayal, abandonment. And because of the irrelevance, my life lacked meaning. I need y'all to believe me when I say I literally almost lost my mind. Literally almost lost my mind. I was allowing my thoughts and my beliefs to make decisions about me without me, because I had let these things become a part of me. I had let these thoughts become who I was. There had to be a better way. There had to be something better to life than what I was experiencing. I had to find some way to turn these unfortunate circumstances into something that can work out for my good. It was at this point in my life, I was a little older. I'm going to say I was a lot older. It was at this point in my life where I recognized irrelevance as a dominant force in my life. And what I needed to do at that point was I needed to evict irrelevance from my life. I needed to stop paying rent to a place that I no longer wanted to reside. And after much analyzation, I came to the realization that I was not born into relevance. I didn't come out of my mother's womb thinking I wasn't good enough. I didn't come out of my mother's womb thinking I wasn't pretty enough. Get this, I didn't even come out of my mother's womb thinking I wasn't smart enough. Instead, it was the circumstances of life that happened over the span of time that created and shaped these thoughts that I had of me. The amazing thing about this discovery was that in my relationship with God, He helped me to understand that I was purposed by His design, that I was no mistake, that I was planned, I was scheduled. I was here on purpose, for a purpose, and with a purpose. Yeah. And the purpose that I was here for was to ignite, empower, and propel. One of the purposes was to ignite, empower, and propel other people into their relevance. My being, just as your purpose is intentional. So what I wanted to do today was share with you some brief steps, very briefly, wanted to share with you some steps that I took into igniting or regaining my relevance. And one of them is that you have to decide that you need to change your mind by reframing your mindset. After you've done that, you will need to determine the source of your irrelevance. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. For me, the source of my irrelevance came from my mother dying when I was a newborn, my father abandoning me, and me being separated from my siblings. That was my source. I then had to familiarize myself, and this is what I encourage you all to do too, familiarize yourself with those feelings associated with irrelevance. So the feelings for me were abandonment, betrayal, resentment, anger, bitterness. And once you familiarize yourself with them, you have to then know what to do with those thoughts when they arise. And that is the last step for me, was I needed to take action. So what I did was I started to suffocate those negative thoughts that arose in my life. And every time something negative or a negative thought came up, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, nobody wants you, I would in turn counter that with something positive. So what I want to say in closing is that, first of all, I would like to thank Rhonda for rearranging the lineup to accommodate my loss. I also want to thank everyone who sent up prayers for me and my family during our time of loss. And I want to close with this: changing my mind, changing my mindset. I took something that was very unfortunate, some circumstances in my life that were very unfortunate, the loss of my mother. I never knew a mother. I never had a mother's touch. The abandonment of my father. I never had a father to tell me this is how a man is supposed to treat you. This is how a woman is supposed to act. This is what you're supposed to expect. I never grew up with siblings to play with, none of that. So I took those unfortunate situations in my life and I made them work for my good, but it took time. And through that process, there were negative thoughts and negative beliefs that rooted in me, so much so that I became those thoughts. So just for the same amount of time that it took for them to root, it took work and participation on my part for them to be uprooted. So me changing my life, me changing my mindset enabled me to change my life. So today, I encourage anyone out there that is listening that it may be hard, it will be hard, but it's going to take work. It's going to take your participation, but it can be done. And as a result of me changing my mindset, I am now liberated and self-assured, walking boldly and confidently in my relevance. And I employ everyone else out there to do the same. So I want to leave you with this on my part of the segment. Remember that you absolutely matter. Thank you.
Girl, you have said so much on this talk right here, right now. Does anyone have any questions for her before I start asking the questions that I have for her? Janika or Danielle?
No, I did not.
So listen, I understand. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Danielle's talking. Wait a minute.
You can't hear me?
Okay. Wait 1 second. It's not unmuted yet. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Say something, Danielle.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I
can hear you.
Everybody else can hear me?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Ms. Rhonda, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. No, I didn't have any questions.
Okay. So my question from Tammy was, or is, first of all, so you came into your feelings of being born into this irrelevance, correct?
Yes.
And your mom passed when you were newborn. Your father abandoned you as a toddler, and then you said that you didn't grow up with your siblings, but that you grew up with family. So I'm just curious to know what that dynamic was.
So the fortunate part of it is that the
relatives just specifically want to have a relationship with you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me, Rhonda?
I can hear you.
Okay. So yes, you are correct. I didn't have a mother, father, and didn't grow up with my siblings, but I was in the home of relatives. And the fortunate part of that, and I can say a lot of my foundation was that I was brought up in the church. So while I had people around me that were loving me and that were showing me the ways of God, I always felt a yearning of what my life would have been like had my mother been here, what my life would have been like had my father been here, would my life have been any different if I had grown up with my siblings. So yes, you are correct. I was in a loving family, but that part I said, as I got older, I began to yearn for my biological connections. I wanted to know what my mom looked like. I'm getting ready to get emotional. I wanted to know what it felt like to be hugged by my father. I wanted to know what it felt like to play at the park with my siblings. So those emotions did turn into the feelings did turn into me constantly on auto self-talk saying these people must not have wanted me. Like I said, I came to a place in my life where I even blamed, my mother died when I was a month old. So I blamed me for my mother's death, you know? So I went through a lot of things, and it was the support of my friends and my family and the love of God that helped me come through it. But one of my missions and one of my purposes is I don't ever want another female, another person to ever have to feel what I felt. I never felt like I belonged. I never felt like I belonged. And I want to be able to reach out and touch people and let them know that in spite of what you've gone through, that's not the end of your story. That may be where you began, but that's not the end of your story. Life goes on, and all it takes is a changed mind, a changed mindset. A little bit of love, a little bit of support goes a long way.
Now, in saying that too, Tammy, we understand and we know that our mothers and our fathers are our first relationships generally. So how has that affected your relationships that you have now, and how do you think it'll affect your relationships going forward? Because it's always a part of that will be with you, not necessarily the part of being irrelevant. We bind that up, but the part of not having your mom and not having your dad.
I think what I think it bothered me in a lot of ways, but I think not having a mom, this might sound a little off kilt here, but I think me not having a mom gave me a greater appreciation for people. I have such compassion that sometimes it hurts, you know. I've been told that I have the compassion of Christ, and it hurts. Not having, so I think that I have a great compassion and passion for people in that regard. Not having a father, think I made a lot of mistakes in relationships with the men, because I had to learn through trial and error what to expect, or you know, I didn't have anybody to tell me this is how a man is supposed to treat you. This is what a man is supposed to do. I had to learn that through trial and error. And once I got old enough, when I went to go live with other people in my family, I had a great model of what that looked like. But I had already been dating, like, you know, a couple of years or so by that time. So not having a father, I think, affected my relationships with the men. You know, not having siblings, it just made me spoiled. I was really spoiled because I was like, I grew up like as the only person, you know, so it kind of just made me spoiled. But today I have a good relationship with my siblings, especially with my sister.
That is good to know. That is good to know. You really dropped some really good knowledge today. I love some of the terminology you used about evicting certain things from your life and stop paying rent on things that didn't need to be there. I like that. I really love that. And my prayer for you is that, you know, you continue to grow and have, you know, healthy relationships and not base them on things that happened in your past. And I thank God that you changed those things in your life, so change your mind so about those things so you could change your life and be able to move forward and not stay stuck in the things that you were lacking from the time that you were born. That is awesome. That is really awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm good.
Now,
I'm good.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. But so now for those who are on Facebook and all of us on Zoom, because we do have some people listening in on Zoom and watching, we are going to move to our next speaker, which is going to be Ms. Janika Joyner. Janika, can you hear us okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
All right, I'm going to mute out and you have the floor.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Janika Joyner. licensed clinical social worker and owner of Elevation Counseling Services. So the title of this conference makes perfect sense with what I ask people to do, but it's more relevant to me because it's something that I hadn't done myself as a therapist. So by trade, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, but I do psychotherapy and I specialize in trauma. So it's important that I help my clients heal. I help my people that I serve heal. But guess what? This girl hadn't done her own work. I had yet to have healed. So I'm going to go back about a year ago when I decided to say yes to Janika, yes to God, number one. My whole life changed. So I am now comfortable with saying, my name is Janika Joyner. My mother smoked crack. My father sold crack, but I'm okay. So this little girl who was born in the 80s and had a mother addicted to crack had not healed from that and never talked about it. We didn't talk about it in our home. I was raised by my grandparents. They did a wonderful job, but I didn't find out about my mother's use until I was about 15 or 16. And not having a mother around for me already put me in a disadvantage because I felt less than. Something was wrong. So what did I do? I masked. That's what we do as women. We cover it up. We act like we're okay. We throw on some makeup, we put on some clothes, get a little bit of jewelry, and we're good to go. And on the inside, we are beaten down, broken, hurt, and need help. So I kept myself busy, went to school, made good grades, didn't really make some good decisions in life, but going to college was one of the things that I decided to do. Now, as a social worker, I'm supposed to help people. That's what I did. So that altruism, that feeling of helping others gave me something that I needed, which was to feel good because I really didn't feel good about myself. So in the trauma field, some things can happen and it's called VT or vicarious traumatization. So if you're not careful as a treater, helper, a professional in the field, you too, if you're doing the work correctly, will be impacted by the work you do. That was me. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Something isn't right. What is unsettling these feelings, these emotions that I'm having? It was because I have yet to dealt with my own trauma, or I didn't own my own mental health. So I decided to start sharing my story. I did a Facebook Live, and from then, things changed. I told God, okay, I'm already helping people, but use me the way you want to use me, not the way I feel that I should be helping people. I'm going to allow you to take control. And like literally, Jesus, you take the wheel. So when I was able to do that and said, okay, there are a couple things that we as women struggle with identifying and accepting, is that I have to stop comparing myself to others. When I can say everyone has someone in their family that is on drugs. And my family, it just happened to be my mom. Oh, I changed my mind. As a therapist, I teach cognitive behavioral therapy. It is addressing the connections between your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. So when I could apply that to my own thing and normalize that, hey, everyone has someone in their family that's either on drugs and that drinks. In my family, it was just my mother. Okay, next. What else is it that I feel I'm less than? What else is it? So I went down every area of my life and started to say, why am I comparing? Because guess what? The more you compare, it's going to affect your self-esteem and your self-image and your self-worth. So you're going to do things and say things that show that you don't really care or love yourself. So once I was able to recognize those things, I stopped. No one's perfect. Everyone has this stuff going on. Every family has issues. Everybody makes mistakes. All right, great. So I was challenging my clients to journal, to write in a journal. And I had to have written in a journal myself. So what did I do? I created 2 journals. So I have 2 journals on Amazon, actually 3. I have 3 journals on Amazon. And I started writing my story. And just this past June, I became an Amazon best-selling author because I stepped out on faith and decided to join this anthology. And my chapter called Owning It is in this book here called Unchain My Legacy. Well, 12 of us decided to share our stories and be open, and I decided to own my stuff. I cannot pour from an empty cup. I cannot do any good work if I am not 100%. I'm dealing with lives. No, I'm not a surgeon, but I'm dealing with people who suffer emotional distress and contemplate whether they want to continue living. So how am I going to serve if I'm not okay? I'm going to be a disservice to the population and the clients that I serve if I'm not okay. So I had to, number one, own my stuff. And starting to own my stuff, number one, I stopped comparing. Number two, I got a journal and did what I asked my clients to do. My first journal, Owning It, My Parent is an Addict, is how I started to talk about something that a little girl didn't know about, found out about, started to make decisions about, and now I am healing. And yes, my mother is aware of this, and I'm proud to announce that she has been clean for 7 years. God is good. So that's number two. So first is to stop comparing. Two, get you a journal. When you write in a journal, guess what? You don't have to get any feedback. Sometimes we just want to vent. No one can say, girl, you know you're wrong, or tell you what you don't want to hear. Get you a journal, write it down until you find your voice. And when you find your voice and you're comfortable and you're confident, then you talk to someone and get some help if you need it. Find out what it is that you're struggling with. You may not even be aware unless you talk to someone like myself, unless you talk to someone in church, unless you talk to someone who can steer you in the right direction. Talk to someone. And if they say, well, honey, that's a little bit, deep, maybe you should go out and find a therapist. You do that. Not everyone needs therapy, but it's okay. You go to get an annual checkup. You're not looking for a diagnosis from your physician. So how about getting a mental health checkup and just making sure everything's okay? You don't have to get a diagnosis. You can just go in, have someone to talk to, bounce some ideas off, and be good. So that is number three, is talking to someone. So I have stop comparing, get you a journal, and then find your voice and talk to someone. And lastly is that we're designed to make mistakes. That's what makes us human. However, when we do, two things must occur. We must learn and we must grow from them. So I'm saying this to say it is okay to not be okay. You have to understand that. We as women sometimes are taught to be bold and just to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And you got to keep it moving, sister. Ain't no time to get sick. You have to be a mother. There's no time to feel bad. You got to go to work and provide for your children. There's no time to feel unsure because your husband needs you to over here cooking and doing that. So we do a lot of things, but guess what, ladies? It's okay. Guys too, it's okay to not be okay. You have to be willing to accept that and to acknowledge that if you really want to change something. So those are my tips as far as how you can start owning it. And I'll just say, do what you can. You don't have to change overnight. It's not going to happen. If you're trying to undo decades of hurt and pain, be slow. It's nothing you can speed through. That's what I tell a lot of my girls that I work with, is that trauma work, you're dealing with this for the rest of your life. And some people don't want to admit, and they're afraid of that T word, trauma. A lot of my kids suffer in silence because they don't believe that their trauma is valid. Witnessing domestic violence can be traumatic. Being in a natural disaster can be traumatic. It doesn't mean just going to war. It doesn't mean that you have been sexually abused. You can actually hear about the death of a loved one and not even be present. And that can be traumatic. We all respond to these things differently. So I would say, if you're feeling like, hold on, well, I've experienced some stuff in my life, but we're not supposed to talk about that because, we're supposed to keep what happens in the house, get on the computer in your own privacy on your phone and go to aces2high.com. There was a big study, the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. A lot of trauma-focused therapists in the communities now are aware of how what happens to us affects not just our minds, it affects our physical health, and it affects the decisions that we make. So if you've experienced something and you're just pushing it under the rug, it's not good. It's going to affect your health. You're going to have high blood pressure, stomach ulcers, and you're presenting to be this person who's always anxious. And you might go get help for the anxiety, but guess what? You uncover and peel back those layers. It's trauma. It's trauma. We've all experienced it. It can be something psychological. It can be something generational. You know, these things are they're transferred from generation to generation. But just as they say, hurt people, I believe in the reframe of that, and by saying heal people, heal people. So it's all in how you view yourself and your life and own your stuff so that you can be the best version of yourself that you were supposed to be, you were created to be, you're destined to be. So that's all I have for you all today.
Thank you, Janika. That was awesome. For those who are listening in on that webinar, I just wanted to let you know you are open to ask questions to any of the speakers while they're on. I can see your questions. You can either put it in the question and answer section, or you can put it in the chat, and I will ask your questions on your behalf. And same thing for anyone on Facebook. If you have a question for anyone who is on the webinar, you can post it on Facebook. I can see your questions and I will ask it of the speaker. Does anyone have questions for Janika right now before I ask my question? Tammy says she does. Tammy, you unmute. Hold on, Tammy, because you're muted. Okay.
Hi, Janika. It's not so much a question, but I'm just agreeing and in agreement with a lot of what you said. Thank you for sharing. I know for me, exposure helped a lot, but it's some things that you said that really made me realize that, you're saying that, you know, we have decades of trauma or decades of things that have taken place in our lives. And in order to uproot that stuff, it's going to take more than just a day or two to do it. So I thank you for saying that, because there are people out there that feel that this stuff can be uncovered in weeks or, you know, days, or, you know, and if it took you 10 years to build it up, you know, it has to take more than 2 days. So I thank you for saying that. And then you said something personal to me too, when you were saying about childhood traumas. There's so much of my life that I can't even remember. They're like major parts of my life from this age to that age that I have no earthly idea what transpired. So by you saying that today, that helped me to realize that, that might be a result of the trauma that I experienced in my life. So I'll say thank you. And I'm sure that you helped some others out there too, but thank you for that. That was good.
And thank you. Yes, so absolutely right. Absolutely right. When we experience any type of trauma, our brain is actually rewired and restructured. So we do have memory gaps and losses. So coming to therapy is basically like taking the pieces of the puzzle that you have and sorting it out and trying to put it together. So that's what I help some of my clients do. And I primarily work with adolescent girls who have all suffered some sort of trauma. And they come to me, they feel broken, they're ready to check out. And they feel like their only option is to leave this earth. But by the time, after we work together and they trust me enough, and I let them know, hey, this is a non-judgmental zone, you are able to speak your truth. And if it's too much, we stop. You know, I can't force you to do something you're not ready to do, but I let them know that I'm walking with them on their journey.
You know, I think it's, first of all, I think it's funny that Janika mentioned and Tammy mentioned about blocking out trauma, because I do recognize that happens with me as well. As just like on my grandma's funeral, now I know I was there, but I do not remember a lot of my grandma's funeral. I do not. You know, somebody just say, do you remember this and you remember that? No, I don't. And the same thing with my mom's services. there's a lot about my mom's services that I do not remember. I just don't, and I'm sure a lot of it's blocked out or whatnot, and I choose not to think about it. And I think it's more of that, choosing not to think about those times is why I block out so much. But that is true. Trauma, you do block out trauma. Janika, tell us one more time where to get your book and how.
Oh, well, Unchain My Legacy is on Amazon. It's also on my website through my business, Elevation Counseling Services. So I have my website, www.elevationcounselingservice.com. So it doesn't have the S.
Okay.
And you can also find my journals on Amazon. I'm on Facebook as Elevation Counseling Services and Janika Joyner, LCSW. And Instagram as Elevate Elevation.
Okay, I'm gonna have to follow you on Instagram. I try to follow all of my speakers on Instagram.
I'll type it in the comments.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Normally, Lanita would be here typing everything in for me, but she's not here today. I got too many things going on. I can't do all this multitasking. Jalan Huber on Facebook says that she blocks out her childhood. Jalan, why do you block out your childhood? Because we're saying there's things that we just choose not to remember or don't want to relive. That's why we black things out.
Yeah, there was an article I was featured in Bustle magazine about repressed childhood memories. Sometimes it's difficult to even think about those things that were traumatic. So it's a defense mechanism. You don't want to relive or re-experience that pain and that hurt. So you don't go there. Triggers, you stay away from. If you know this particular song is going to remind you this particular scent, when you smell it, you get away or you go the other way. When the song comes on, you automatically change the station or you leave the area where the song is playing. So those repressed childhood memories are defenses of saying, hey, that's hurt. We don't want to be there. We don't want to go there. So we got to get out of here. That fight or flight mode, you check out by running, going the opposite way to protect yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I know earlier when you talked about women putting on masks, one of the things that we talked about in the first, July, one of the things we talked about in the first webinar, the first week, was that, women being built strong. And that is just my thought and my, and lost the whole train of thought, but just my belief that God made us strong to be able to multitask and to do so much and to be a mom and a wife and the whatever, all these layers that we carry and that we have to do. But in the same time, with the masking that you were talking about, it does become unhealthy, as you were saying, because we have to be able to allow ourselves to be emotional when we have to be, cry when we need to, and all those other things. So you are absolutely correct about the masking. My girlfriend Charlene just commented on Facebook, and she said that she watched me go through the death of my mom and my grandmother. She says that I was very strong, but sometimes I need my own moment. And see, this goes back to the masking thing for me. And I remember her saying to me at my grandmother's funeral, because I hadn't cried, we got all the way to the burial. And I remember her saying to me, you need to just let it go. And it was just like somebody gave me permission, right? Because I could remember being worried about my brother, because my grandmother raised my brother. So it was extremely hard for him. Of course, my mom and my aunts, you know what I'm saying? Because they lost their mom, you know what I mean? And trying to be taking care of everybody else, right? But I do remember when she said that to me, it was like I had permission to just release and be able to, cry for myself, you know what I'm saying, and the loss of my grandmother. But in the same aspect, when my mom passed, okay, let me back up for a minute, because before my mom passed, I thought the passing of my grandmother was one of the most hurtful things that I had to experience in a loss. And I never wanted to feel that way again. I can remember thinking that, right? So when my mom passed, that was just unsurmountable pain, right? And I allowed myself to cry hard the first day. The first day. And and it may not even make sense to you all, seriously. I allowed myself to cry hard that very first day. But after that, not that I did not cry again, because I still cry, but just not that hard, deep cry, right? Because I had other people I needed to look after, you know what I'm saying? My kids, my brothers, my sisters, you know what I'm saying? So again, with the masking, so maybe I haven't learned how to unmask completely yet. I don't know, but it's a work in progress.
I tell my girls to cry in the shower because you're already wet.
I know that's right. And the shower is a good place to cry. The shower is a great place to cry. You are absolutely right. But thank you for that, Janika. And I look forward to getting one of your journals. I'm going to have to check it out because I don't like journal all the time. But weirdly enough and oddly enough, in the relationship that I am in now, I journal our relationship. And I like it. I like it. I really do. So yes. So thank you for that. And look forward to working with you again and hearing more from you in the future.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Now next we have Dr. Danielle Peebles, who is on Zoom with us. And I see she got the skeleton back here in the background, so I guess we're about to get an education real good, real good. Welcome, Dr. Peebles. How are you?
Hello, good evening. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great. I am great.
Great. Good evening to everyone. Welcome. First of all, I want to say thank you to Ms. McAlister for allowing me to participate in this particular conference. I was thrilled when I was invited, and so I just thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
I am Dr. Danielle Peebles, and I am a licensed chiropractor here in the state of Missouri. I earned my doctorate's degree from Logan University and a bachelor in chemistry from St. Louis University. And I'm excited to share with you that I am celebrating 8 years in private practice and serving the St. Louis community.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Since this is the Change Your Mind, Change Your Life International Women's Conference, I want to encourage you to adapt another component of self-care.
Okay.
I want you to adapt regular chiropractic care for your regular self-health care regimen. So without further ado, welcome to the role of chiropractic health in women's care.
Okay.
I walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellas stand or they fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes, and it's the flash of my teeth. It's the swing in my waist, and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman, that's me, my Angela. Now, for some women, it's difficult to feel phenomenally because the fire in their eyes is from seeing red from all the pain they're in. The flash of their teeth is them gritting, trying to smile when they really want to cry. And the swing in their waist, that swing been gone a long time ago. And the joy in their feet has been replaced with agony. But you're still a phenomenal woman. You just don't feel phenomenally yet. And chiropractic can help you with that. So what is a chiropractor? A chiropractor is a functional neurologist. As a chiropractor, I'm also known as a neuromuscular skeletal doctor. And that's because we render care via the nervous system, the muscular system, and the skeletal system. And although we render care via these three systems, we actually affect every single system in the body. There are 11 systems in the body, and through our treatment, we are able to affect and improve all 11 systems. Now today, I'm not going to talk about all 11 systems. We don't have time for that. But I'm going to talk about the most fun system, the sexual reproductive system. You agree with that? So, with the chiropractic treatment of the sexual reproductive system, I'm not going to focus on the whole sexual reproductive system, but I am going to focus on an aspect that affects every single female in every phase of development, from girlhood to seasoned womanhood. And that aspect is the menstrual experience. Yes, getting regular chiropractic care can improve your menstrual experience. Say, what, Dr. Peebles, you mean I've been going through all this and I could have been getting chiropractic care? Well, what are some of the benefits of chiropractic care for the menstrual experience? The first benefit, and women may experience one or all of these benefits that I am getting ready to list. But the first benefit I want to share with you is that chiropractic adjustments can actually decrease or completely alleviate menstrual cramping. I'm gonna let you sit on that for a second. Okay, time up. Yes, I can actually decrease your menstrual cramping experience to very minimal or completely gone. Patients have been known to experience the decrease, but not only have it alleviated, but they have had their cycles come on and they didn't even know. They were like, oh, hold up, gotta leave. Another benefit to chiropractic care for the menstrual experience is that it can decrease the volume of the menstrual flow. Some women are experiencing extremely heavy cycles, and extremely heavy cycles affects every aspect of your life, from the type of personal products that you purchase, to the clothes that you wear, to which events you attend. But with chiropractic adjustments, we can actually normalize your menstrual flow and the volume of it. You do not have to have extremely heavy periods. Now, that's not across the board, because if there are other underlying medical conditions, then chiropractic alone will not help you, but it will be a co-treatment with your medical physician. Another benefit to the chiropractic adjustment for the menstrual flow is that it can actually decrease the number of days that you're on your cycle. On average, it's been shown that it can decrease your flow by 1 day. That's not everybody, so don't get excited, sign up and say, I'm coming to see Dr. Peebles for my cycle to be decreased by 1 day. I can't promise that, but it has been known to happen on a regular basis. I just can't promise that. Another benefit to chiropractic adjustments to help improve the menstrual experience is that it improves your mood. Now, some people can literally eat a whole person during their menstrual cycle. I don't know if this is you, but I know a few. And after the adjustments, what I've seen, and even they have reported, is that they only ate half a person, or they didn't eat anyone during the menstrual cycle, okay? That's what chiropractic adjustments can do. But even though those are some of the common symptoms that females experience during the menstrual experience, there are some other symptoms that occur as well, like headaches, leg pains, knee pain. And chiropractic adjustments will help that improve as well. Now, one of the other things about chiropractic is, how do you know you're one of those people that can benefit from chiropractic adjustments for your menstrual cycle? Easy. Do you happen to have knee pain? Do your knee pain occur randomly or all the time? If you suffer from knee pain, then 9 times out of 10, you are a female that suffers from menstrual cycle dysfunctions. Well, I'll call them discomforts, okay? The same nerve root that goes to your knees also goes to your uterus, your bladder. Therefore, any symptoms that you have associated with those particular organs, there's no surprise that you have knee discomfort. Now, the other different aches that you have, such as your leg pain, your thigh pain, and your hip pain, those are also tied to your menstrual cycle, but that's because they're in the same area as the nerve root that goes to your knees and your uterus. And that just happens to be the lower back. So if you have chronic low back pain, or even if you're a person with high pain threshold and you have chronic muscle tightness, then these are correlated with your menstrual cycle. Now, I didn't want to just share with you what I know as a chiropractor. So I've invited a couple of patients along that have helped me, that will help me give you their experience so that they've noticed from their chiropractic experience with their menstrual cycles. And so I've have two with me. Two of them couldn't make it. So they have allowed me to share their story with you, but quickly I will let them come in and do their testimony, and then I'll take questions and continue from there. If you're okay with that, we're going to move right along. So the first person I'm going to bring up, she's coming along, just a moment. She's going to share her experience and let you know how long she's been in coming to chiropractic, well, getting chiropractic adjustments, and she'll also share her before and after experience.
Hi, my name is Sheree. I am a patient of Dr. Peoples. I never knew anything about chiropractic work because that's not something you really do on a regular, you know, that's something that's kind of put to the side, or, you know. So I've been going to Dr. Peoples. I've been a patient of hers for about 3 months now, 2 months, 3 months. Before then, I hadn't had any type of menstrual cycles, any regularity to my menstrual cycles. As a teenager, it was a hit and miss for me on a regular. So once I started seeing Dr. Peoples, I actually started having regular menstrual cycles, believe it or not. I probably started my menstrual when I was 12, and I'm now in my 30s, you know, and for me to experience the change in my body since I've been seeing Dr. Peoples it's amazing to me. I was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries, so I was always told that I was not going to be able to bear children due to the irregularity of my menstrual cycle. So now it's been 3 months. It's been 3 months of regular menstrual cycles for me. I'm so nervous, I'm sorry. But it's been 3 months for me, and I'm excited because this is the beginning for me. Now I am happy that I am regular, and maybe one day I will be able to bear children. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sheree. And that's one of the other ends of chiropractic care is that for people who do not have regular periods, chiropractic care can actually regulate your cycle. So there are, on the flip end or on the other end of that spectrum, there are patients or people who are having prolonged periods. Not only is it irregular, but when it comes, it hangs out. It's like that unwanted house guest, or it's that guest that pop up and say, I was in the neighborhood. They be like, not during this party, like what? So the other end of that spectrum is those who have nonstop periods. I had a patient that she couldn't make it today, but she said I can share her story. If you can imagine bleeding for 2 months nonstop, and maybe you can because it's you. She could not, no one had been able up until this point, and she had been menstruating for 2 years now, more on than off. But prior to seeing me, she had been bleeding for 2 months straight, lost so much blood. And for someone who's menstruating for more than 7 days or even that heavy is life altering. She was bleeding so heavily that she had to wear Depends in addition to the extra heavy sanitary pad. Can you imagine that? Okay, let me tell you. I'm going to be transparent. If I had to be in that situation, I'll be upset because I can't wear my pretty panties. How many other women would like to wear their pretty panties? She has spent lots of money on pretty panties. I mean, that's important to me. Can I wear my pretty panties and be sexy? No, I'm wearing a Depend. I'm not saying Depends aren't sexy just in case you wear Depends. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, in my experience, I don't feel sexy anything that's too much. So anyway, as a female, what you can wear and be sexy in matters. And if you're not feeling confident, or even if you're feeling achy all the time, or you menstruate all the time, that changes how you think. It changes how you function. So with chiropractic care and being able to adjust her, I was able to stop her cycle. That's not typical of everybody, but I stopped her cycle on that day. Okay, now some people you might see a taper off, but I was able to end her bleeding escapade that evening. She couldn't believe she was not menstruating, and she did not have to wear the Depend anymore. She was actually able to not mess up clothes throughout the weekend. So that's the other end of the spectrum, far as irregular and not getting a cycle to bleeding all the time. But now I have another patient that's in between. This particular patient just had horrible cramps. She had heavy cycles. She eat whole people on her cycle, but she's going to share her experience post adjustments. And welcome.
Hi everyone. So I'm Crystal Foster, and I've been a patient of Dr. Peoples for about 6 or 7 years or so. And so I'm one of those young ladies that got their cycle when I was 11, and it was horrible from the first out the gate. So from 11, I remember rolling around in the back seat telling my mom I'm dying, something's happening to me, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out why I was feeling so bad. And I remember my grandmother calling saying, get over it, because this is going to happen every month. And so at 11, that was pretty devastating. So fast forwarding to when I started to come to Dr. Peoples, she would adjust me, and I would say, well, what are you adjusting with my knees? And she said, well, it looks like you she asked me about my cycles. And I said, well, yeah, my cramping is horrible. I cramp before I come on. I eat everything under the sun before I come on. My cycles are heavy. They are bad. I'm angry. I go through all the motions. Even my mother would say, something must be coming up, because I go through all the motions. So she would start adjusting me, and I would notice that my cycles were a little bit lighter, because I used to have 7-day cycles. They were a little bit lighter. They started to kind of creep up on me. So like prior to getting adjusted, I would notice I would get cramps. I might cramp 2 or 3 days before I even come on. And then it started to get to a point where I would come on, and then my cramps would be a little bit lighter. And I mean, I have the cramps where I need the heating pad, I need the hot tea, I need the ibuprofen, I need the cold, I need a hot bath, and I need a fan to cool me down. So I'm flashing. I had the whole, whatever you can think of, I had it, okay, since I was 11. So it's been quite the roller coaster, but coming to Dr. Peoples and getting my adjustments had been pretty life-changing. So I actually lived for that appointment once a month because I knew what was coming up. I knew what the adjustments could do. I knew how it could kind of help alleviate those symptoms that I was experiencing. So it was amazing. It was an amazing transformation. And then I'm going to leave you with this last piece of information. As the chiropractor, I came in and said, so I wonder, is it possible if you could tell if, just do things change if I was in early pregnancy? And so she adjusts me, and I had just been maybe a week or so before, and she said, well, the nerve for your ovaries have shifted. And it did turn out that I was pregnant, and I hadn't even had a test yet. I was super early. So just the things that she can pinpoint, from headaches to sinus issues to dizziness with the vision. She's called out on so many things from adjusting. Are you having problems with this, that, or this? So, I mean, I have to be the walking testimony for her, because my cycles were horrible. And I think it's something that everybody should take advantage of if you get that opportunity.
So, well, how long does your cycles go about now? Because I think you said you're on 7 days. So you're still doing a 7-day cycle, or is it shorter or lighter, or what?
Once I started getting adjusted, it kind of cut down to about 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
And then it was lighter, because I used to clot a lot. I used to have whatever you could think of, been through it. But that changed. They were lighter and they were shorter.
That's awesome. Okay.
All right,
Thank you, Crystal. Now, she shared a part of her story. She shared that I detected that she was pregnant. That's not my commercial at all. Don't come to me asking me, can I tell you pregnant? That is not my selling point at all. What had happened was I knew her body's baseline. No, but there are, I really do not profess to be able to tell if you're pregnant. I will not, no. But there are certain changes that the body automatically goes through when you do become pregnant, because certain hormones kick off and they're going to, for example, the relaxin hormone. And when the relaxin hormone is released in the body, it shows no discrimination. It attacks every single joint. So it just so happened that I had seen her the week before. I saw some things that I normally don't have to adjust on her. That pubic bone in her pelvis had shifted. I was like, I think you might be pregnant. I don't want to be your pregnancy test, but I think you're pregnant. And so about a week or two later, she sent me the pregnancy test. I was like, yes, I knew. No, I didn't know. But without holding you much longer, it has been fun sharing with you about chiropractic and how if chiropractic is not a part of your self-care regimen, women, men, you should definitely make it a part of it, because you will see things improve for you on so many levels and in so many areas of your life. It will improve at home. It will improve at work, because your whole disposition will just be better. People who are in chronic pain will tend to have a change in their, as the other speakers have said, it will change your thought process. It will change your outlook on life. But if you can control, or if you can get a grasp on that and change that, do it. And let chiropractic be a part of that change with you.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Now, I don't see any questions on Facebook, but on Facebook, just in case you're having a hard time hearing Dr. Danielle, we are talking about the effects that chiropractic self-care can have on helping the ladies with their menstrual cycles. How if you have a longer cycle, make it shorter, lighter, and all that kind of stuff. Now, look at here, Dr. Danielle. Wait a minute. We got to talk about some things. First of all, I wish I had known this like 5 or 6 years ago. My cycles would be 11 freaking days long.
I feel your anger right now. I do. I'm really feeling it, like, yes, I get chills.
Oh, I used to hate it so much. And it seemed like by the time I go off 1, 2, maybe 3 days, I'm back on again for another 11-day stretch. I hated it. So I had to go with the long cycles, the bloatedness, just all of this, and crabbiness, crankiness, as you say. I could probably eat a half a person during that time. And I know a lot of gynecologists, they give women hysterectomies and all this kind of stuff. And my gynecologist, God rest her soul, I love her and I miss her so much, Dr. Dean, she didn't want to give me a hysterectomy because at the time I was maybe 37, 38, somewhere in there. I don't know if I was 40 yet. But I did have the microablation. And so because of that, because with the microablation, you could have either lighter cycle or no cycle at all. And thank you, Jesus, I have no cycle at all now. But now my next question is, can you adjust away these hot flashes?
Oh. About that, and you made me think of something else I meant to mention earlier. Now, yes, as far as the hot flashes, chiropractic has been known to help you improve that. It may alleviate, it just varies from patient to patient, but it can improve the symptoms. Will it get rid of it completely? I will not advertise that to you, okay, but it will improve it. The other thing that you made me remember was a lot of times when I come across women who have issues with their menstrual cycle, but they have not experienced chiropractic or they're not sure, I say, this is what you do. If it is a day that you are cramping and actually have your menstrual cycle at that moment, or you cramping and get ready to come on, call me that day, come in, because I can actually shut your cycle, your cramping, not your cycle, shut your cramping off on my table. So before you get up, I will have decreased your cramps to minimum or zero. I had one patient come in, and it was really funny because she was very She was joking, but I was serious. And she said, Dr. Peebles. I said, how you doing today? She said, ooh, Dr. Peebles, these cramps. Oh my gosh, can you please adjust my ovaries? And I said, yes. And she said, wait, I was just kidding. I said, I wasn't. So she laid down. I gave her an adjustment. And she was like, oh my God, I don't feel any cramping. I was like, yes, I really can't shut it off on the table. So I extend that to anyone who's listening. If you're in the St. Louis area, if you're cramping that day, give us a call, 314-607-9150. Come in that day, we'll shut your cramps off.
I used to have a coworker, Lavette. We used to work together. Lavette, if you're watching on Facebook, and her cycle would give her such a hard time, and she would have really bad headaches. She would miss days of work because of her freaking cycle. That is crazy.
You can miss days, whether it's for the cycle or just pain, period. But yes, chiropractic would definitely improve or really get rid of the headache. Now, if your headache comes with a name like your boyfriend's name, I can't fix that headache, but I could adjust muscle strain and joint discomfort that's creating the, and I could fix that, yes. But if she was to get adjusted and adjusted regularly, that would actually improve, and she wouldn't have to miss work due to the menstrual symptoms. I'll be transparent with you. When I know first of all, I get adjusted every week because I know frequency is something that people are wondering. How frequently should someone get adjusted? It depends on your lifestyle. My lifestyle is very, very action-packed. I think I'm a superhero, okay? I lift weights, I run, I swim, I bike, I roller skate, I play with my 6-year-old, I stand in front of the class and I teach in the mornings, and then I come and lift body parts and work with my patients. So I think I'm a superhero. I do all kinds of things. But in order to do the things that I love to do and to keep doing them, I get adjusted every week. And when I know my cycle is on its way, I'm definitely getting adjusted that week because I want my cycle to come on time and I don't want all the cramping.
Now I'm curious because me personally, I've never been to a chiropractor for any reason. I've heard very good things about chiropractors, and I've heard people say, you know, they gonna leave a chiropractor there and more pain. Wait a minute, Joanne wants to know what was the word on the hot flashes. She may be able to decrease them, but they will not go completely away, girl. They won't.
I may not be. It depends on the patient. It depends on a lot of factors for that. So I don't want that to be my commercial.
Okay. So she tried. She tried.
Okay.
But for the African American community, are more of us leaning toward chiropractic for self-care?
Repeat that. I didn't hear you. I didn't understand.
For the African American community, are more of us leaning toward chiropractic as part of our self-care?
It's increasing, but it's really a matter of education because a lot of them don't know what we do. A lot of them don't understand what we do. But there are medical doctors that don't understand what we do. So if you don't have anyone if you have not come into contact with a chiropractor, pardon me, or anyone who has had a positive experience or really can educate you on what we do and how we do it, then you're least likely to come to it. But that is my goal as an educator. I'm big on education. So any chance that I get to speak with someone or even be their first adjustment, like that is excitement to me. When someone calls me and say, hey, Dr. Peebles, I would like to come in. I always ask them, have you ever been to a chiropractor? And then say, no. I'm like, yes, I get to be your first chiropractor. Woo, and they're like, okay, I don't understand why you're so excited. And I'm like, I get to share with you what we do and how we do it. So my consultation with you is eye-opening because I teach you how your body works. I teach you how to take care of your body. I don't just put you on the table, adjust you, and then send you out there. Why? Because my name's attached to what you just had done. And if you go out there and say, Dr. Peebles, she did something to me, like she touched my leg and then she pushed here, no, that's not going to work. St. Louis is very small. And somebody going to say, I know Dr. Peebles. That's going to be a problem for me. So I make sure you understand and know what happened to you so you can go out there and say, Dr. Peebles showed me. that's always my goal, is to educate you and make sure you know what's happening to you.
Tammy says you have awesome energy. Yes, she does have awesome energy. She's funny.
I have a question though.
Okay.
So Dr. Peoples, do you do adjustments on pregnant women? Because I'm actually expecting my third.
Congratulations.
I'm sorry. I get excited about chiropractic. Absolutely do I adjust. One of the patients that was the one that was up here, Miss Crystal, yes, I adjust pregnant women. And boy, is the best thing, because your body is going through these changes. It's through aches, pains. And as that baby grows, your body is just stretching. Well, adjustments help with that. It alleviates that. So now you're thinking, based on what you may know about chiropractic, what you've seen, most of the time chiropractic is often depicted with the adjustment of your hand. And that is where the foundation, that's the basis of our chiropractic profession, is to practice by hand. That's what chiropractic means. So we do deliver adjustments by hand. However, there are so many techniques for realigning the joints, which is what's irritating the nerves and causing pain. So in my office, I do not use my hand as much anymore. I did start off using my hand, but for personal reasons, I did shift to a different technique. Well, I'm not going to say shift. I use predominantly another technique. Chiropractors are taught so many techniques to be able to treat the body. It's just that what is shown to you is the hand. I use a tool called the activator, and a lot of my ladies love this tool because it's not invasive. They don't hear the cracking sound, and it's a little bit more gentler than the adjustment of the hand. I'm not going through the muscle, and as you all say, crack. First of all, we don't crack backs. Yeah, I said, we don't crack backs. Eggs get cracked. We adjust the spine. Okay. But yes, with pregnancy, you can get adjusted, and there are gentle techniques that allow you to get adjusted. And it actually, now here's research on here, this too. Women who are adjusted, especially with their first pregnancy, on average sees their baby delivered within 6 hours. Like that baby just tuck and roll and fall out, who have adjustments during their pregnancy. Now, all of the patients that I've treated during their pregnancy have had phenomenal deliveries, labor and delivery experience. Like, well, as far as the baby tucking and rolling, the baby just came out pretty quickly. I was adjusted all the time, but because my pelvis, my frame of my body was not big enough for my baby couldn't just slide right out. So I had to have a C-section. So I was actually in labor a lot longer. But yes, chiropractic definitely is great for pregnancy.
Thank you. And that's my concern, because this is number 3, but number 2, I had shoulder dysplasia, and they're thinking because I'm so small that this one will be big as well. So I'm going to make an appointment because of this, like tomorrow, well, Monday. So thank you so much. Now, if I can find somebody as good as you in Virginia, I'll be good to go.
Get in touch with me and I can help you find someone. So that would be awesome. And I also want to mention this, just to put a blurb, I just put this out there because Ms. McAlister asked me about the education of our African-American people, and do they come? Quite a few are coming and more are coming, but like I said, education is huge for me. And coming out this fall, early winter, in December, I will be having a book signing for a book called Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor. Now look, it's fiction, okay? It's fiction, but the book is called Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor, and it's a fun, entertaining way to educate you on what chiropractic is, what it does. And so in the book, you will follow 8 characters that are at a weekend chiropractic retreat. And you will see characters who are chiropractic patients and those who are not. And you'll kind of see their light bulbs turning and seeing if chiropractic is something that they would benefit from. So if you would like to be on the pre-order for this book, send me an email or send me a shout out at Dr. Danny P at yahoo.com. That's DRDANNI, P as in my last name, at yahoo.com. And I would love to get you on a pre-order, but that is Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor.
All right, that was some awesomeness.
Thanks for having me. And that is my time.
All right. We are missing two speakers today. So I don't know if Chastity is going to come on. I know Trinace is still at work. She is trying to get a 15-minute break. She had to work unexpectedly today. So very briefly, hey, Roderick. So very briefly, I'm just going to walk through my business and mindset or the essential package, okay? And this is actually a 45-minute downloadable course that you can get, on my website. Um, and it's basically for business owners or for people who want to be in business, just to understand that it's all in one. You cannot take how, your business is separated from everything else. Everything is related to one another. How you think about things in your personal life will directly affect how you think about things in your business, and it affects your business growth and your money. Okay, so this is a briefing of that course, since we're missing two speakers today. So somebody has to do it, right? Somebody has to be free enough to do whatever they want with such little care. However, that somebody is not me. I have goals, aspirations, desires, and pleasures to fulfill. Yes, I like to be able to shop foolishly, take a weekend excursion just because I can, to share my life with someone special. But before I get to enjoy those things, I must to continue to grow my mindset, be coached, and and mentored others to do the same. As women, we are mothers, wives, girlfriends, sisters, and girlfriends to our girlfriends. And each relationship requires something different from us. If we do not have ourselves together, our priorities in order, our business in check, we are no good to anyone else, let alone ourselves. Our mental health and wellness is as important as our physical health and wellness. Our business success is just as important as our personal successes as well. You have the choice to decide how to be the best you, or to keep twirling around in circles trying to figure it out. It's up to you, right? I'm your mindset motivational speaker, author, business coach, and I've had my own breakthrough very recently. I can't wait to reveal it in my conference tour, which I did a couple of years ago. And I have a conference. I'll be speaking in a conference in November, and I'll give you all more details on that coming up. I am about to free some women in their relationships as well as their business. People who are still trying to figure out what their mindset has to do with their business. Now, for those of you who may be on a webinar and you do not have a business, for those of you on Facebook and you do not have a business, right? You take the examples that I'm giving you and you can apply them into your personal life. All right, so when I say business, you just apply it to your personal life. Does that make sense? So your mindset about money determines how far you will take your business. Many of us don't believe in being wealthy, or don't believe that we have the power to have financial freedom. It is your thought process. If it is your thought process that you limit yourself before you begin your journey. Being an entrepreneur, business owner, investor, or an author, whatever your niche happens to be, it's hard work. It may not come overnight. And I'm here to tell you, it's not going to come overnight. The people that, and people get me with this, because they're so busy watching what somebody else is doing, and they're thinking that they started their journey a year or so ago and they should have be bestseller by now. Not that you can't be, or they should have sold 10,000 books by now. Not that you can't, or that they should be in someone else's shoes. But the thing about it is, you don't know how long that person has been doing what they've been doing and how they got to where they are. So I want to encourage people to stop looking at what somebody else is doing and concentrate on yourself. All right, and concentrate on what you need to do to get yourself to the next level. You may not consider yourself to be greater than anyone, but certainly there is no one else that is greater than you. Did you get that? You may not consider yourself to be greater than anyone, but there's certainly not anyone that is greater than you. I need everybody to understand that. That's very important. If one person can have financial freedom, surely you can too. So how do you begin? Put away your parents' way of handling money if it was not a good example. Some of our parents had bad credit, always robbed Peter to pay Paul, never taught us the importance of money or how to save. And I know it was just not my house, right? You cannot be, your parents cannot teach you what they do not know. And if this has happened, then these are things that you're going to have to find out for yourself in your adulthood, right? So that means you have to seek out new information. And people, you cannot be afraid of seeking out new information. Sometimes we shy away from what's different, right? And a lot of times we should be gravitating towards what's different, because if it's different, then that means you won't get the same result, right? Right? You get that? Check your finances. This means your credit and your spending. You can't save money if you don't know where it's going. I talk to myself about this all the time. You ever got paid, right? And you be like, what the hell did I buy? Excuse me, Mom, if you're watching. Like, what did I buy? You know, the money's gone. So you have to check your finances and keep more track of what you're spending and where your money's going. Now, frankly, and this is what I had to do when I got to that point. I had to track how I was spending my money. I love Quick Trip. Quick Trip is my spot. I would go in Quick Trip, buy myself a drink, buy Rhonda a drink every day, because at that time we lived right near Quick Trip. So in the morning we just stop, grab our drinks, and keep it going. But that adds up. So you're talking about you buying 2 drinks every day, 5 days a week, 30 days. That adds up quick. And we're not even going to talk about the days that I stop and I get lunch, right? And of course you gotta have gas, but you know, just easily you will spend $20 that you did not account for in your budget or in your money, right? So when I totaled it up, I was spending $174 in a freaking month just a Quick Trip. Do you hear me? $174. I cut that immediately. All right, it was a wake-up call for me. These monies could have been used to fund a venture, pay for an hour of coaching, just anything I could use that money towards my business. That's my whole point. And even if you don't have a business, that's money that you're spending that you could be using in your home or just to grow yourself. Another way of creating wealth is to involve yourself in having multiple streams of income. This is one of the things that I teach, is multiple streams of income and multiple types of income. One of the things that I teach my clients is how to make money from what they are doing already in their business, right? It's called monetizing. There's more than one way to monetize your business. There are approaches to monetization that people don't always think about. Your mindset about relationships will affect the people you do business with, the type of people you do business with, and how you conduct business with them. Now, long story short, for a very long time, I really didn't do business with men. I only did business with women. For me, it was a personal choice, and it was like a mindset setup thing, right? With the men thing, number one, I didn't want to be bothered with unnecessary flirting. You're beautiful. I know my mama was beautiful. My sisters are beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. Thank you. I didn't want to deal with all of that, right? So for different reasons, I didn't do business with men. So I only did business with women because I felt that I related more to women in business because we have more things in common. That was something that I had to get over when it came to business, because I was losing money. I was missing out on opportunities because I let my mindset affect who I did business with and who I decided to partner with in business. So that was not very smart. So never limit your business relationships by gender. Though women are by far decision makers of the household and number one in consumer buying, they will never be your only customer or your only business partner. By being open to let your business be seen by men, women, and other groups, you open your business up to an unlimited growth potential. You just heard me say unlimited, right? And you heard me say what? Unlimited growth potential. You never know who will be in the next boardroom meeting or at that corporate affair, right? Your willingness to go outside of your comfort zone will always exude your in confidence in business. Confidence equals contract, period. All right? Your mindset about your inner self will hinder you. It causes your starts and stops in business. As I stated above, confidence in business is essential. Business and mindset are an indeed packaged deal. In business or even other aspects of your life, you will quickly learn that you must eliminate what others think about you and grow your own unique positive thoughts about yourself. You must have a can do anything spirit. You got it? You must have it's an I can do anything spirit. It must show in your posture and in your speech. Any great business person can spot your confidence from way across the room. Remember, confidence equals contract. If you don't believe that you can accomplish a task, neither will they. All right? Understand that? Now I'm going to cut that short because Trinace is ready. So our next speaker is ready to come on. So I'm going to introduce to you Arthur Trinace Carter. Her business is One Authentic Woman. Trinace, we are ready for you. You got to unmute. Okay.
Okay. Yes, no. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I am at work. So I have snuck away into my little cubicle, and here I am. Well, this has really been great. I've really enjoyed all of the speakers. Can you still hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Try this. Okay. Okay. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Because I can't hear now. I don't know. Okay. So, as Rhonda said, I am the owner of One Authentic Woman. I'm a published author of 4 books, and I help women get to their authentic self. When Rhonda asked me, I really didn't know what I was going to talk about. Then I had an idea, and this past 2 weeks have definitely convinced me that this is what I should be talking about. My brand is One Authentic Woman. And a lot of times we as women can get off our game, and our authenticity can turn very unauthentic. And when that happens, everything else goes wrong. So I would say recently, I've had the opportunity to experience, based on my different interactions with women. You know, I'm a woman. So more recently, some women that I have been interacting have kind of had to put me in my place with where I am, who I am I being who I'm supposed to be? Am I changing up my game to connect with people that probably I shouldn't connect with, do things that I probably shouldn't be doing? And when you're in that place, that can make you make decisions that put you in a position where you're real happy, if that makes any sense. What I would call it is a pseudo happiness, where maybe you're Maybe you're a wig person and you're not wearing your wig. Maybe you're a person who wears makeup and you're not wearing your makeup. And it puts you in a position where you're not really as authentic as you think you are. And I feel that's important because if you are not authentic, you are not being your best you, then at that point, you're not making the best decisions that you need for you. And if you're not making the best decisions for you, you're not replenishing who you are, then you can't be the best for anybody else. If you don't take the opportunity to be authentic and good for you, then you can't really be there for anybody else. I would say I'm from Chicago, and I moved to Houston about 3 years ago. And I would say that was the most freeing thing that I've ever done. I would say it's been the most authentic experience. My hair is purple. That's my brand. Now it's these. So being authentic gives you a freedom to, if you would say, find yourself. Because I would say this move have definitely made me find myself, or even learn some things about me that I didn't necessarily know, or maybe I even forgot. So I would say the most important thing in your journey of life, period, because it's never going to stop, is to always keep searching yourself to find something new, not reinventing yourself, because you are that person anyway. Just dig deep, spend some time with you, and learn what your authentic self actually is. And with that, I guess that's it. Just be happy. Think you're muted. Let's see. Okay. Hello.
Hold on.
Okay. I don't know if
I'm sorry. Was I muted?
Office building is slow or what.
Did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't hear a thing.
I'm sorry. I was saying, I know, real quick, because I know you got to go back to work. But we were talking on the phone yesterday, and you said something that I said was a very good point that you needed to bring on a call today. Do you remember what it was? It was about being authentic. It's something along the line of having to change who you are for someone else.
My experience on Thursday when I was out with a friend. Are you talking about that?
Yes. So let's leave friends nameless.
Okay, so I have this friend that I was with a couple of days ago. And the way that I've known her, she's always put together. Makeup done, hair done, clothes together. And when I saw her yesterday, she was completely different. No wig, no makeup, not pulled together. And what she said to me is her man likes her natural. But to me, she didn't really seem comfortable. To me, she seemed odd. So
for those
I would say,
no, go ahead.
I would say too many times we as women lose ourselves in what other people's expectation of us is, or what they want us to be.
Right.
And the guests that you had today, you could tell that that was them. They didn't make up. It wasn't, you felt their energy. Their energy was them. That was their personality. They were on what they were who they were. But
Right.
I think oftentimes when we feel like we need to connect with people, places, and things, we often choose to connect with that that person, that place, that thing, based on a change. And you can't be authentic trying to change based on what somebody else wants you to be. I think you and I are connected because, I mean, you dope as hell to me, for me. And I mean, for me, I can't be anybody but me. Whether my hair is purple, whether I'm doing faux locks, whether I got my jeans and my t-shirt on, whether I have on heels. I mean, I'm going to always be me.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I believe that the best way to determine your authenticity is every morning when you wake up and you look in that mirror and you looking directly back at yourself. How do you feel about you?
Mm-hmm.
That's to
That's
me
right.
the best authentic. That's the best test for authenticity, right there. How do I feel about me this morning? How did I feel about the decisions that I made yesterday? What do I think about the decisions I'm going to make tomorrow?
That's good. That's good. And feel free to drop off when you need to, Trinae, because I know you might have to go. But Jelon just said that she said don't mess with her makeup game because somebody might get cut out. She crazy. And Jelon, I don't know if she still an MBA or whatnot,
Not
but
today.
she is excellent with makeup.
Oh no,
But
not doing no
when being
makeup today.
authentic,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But with being authentic, the one thing that I think people are, I don't know if not necessarily more business or than a personal relationship. Because in business, you have to worry about people being unauthentic when they're not being true to like how well they're being, right? How well they're doing, or when they're not being authentic enough to want to share resources, right? But then it comes out a whole lot in personal relationships because that's one thing I used to hate about dating. Oh, I used to hate that about dating because everybody's got a face on, right? Everybody got their best look on, they got their best talk on. I used to hate that, excuse me, about dating because nobody was authentic when it came to dating. And that's the one thing that I do not believe in relationships. As a relationship, you should not be changing anything to be with anyone. Now, granted that, of course, a relationship may grow you and you may become a better person. Maybe you don't do some of the things that you used to do, right? And that's fine. But you still have to be you. I cannot be anybody else but me. I can only be the best me. It is too much energy to try to be someone that you are not. Don't do that. You right? Because the person that you're trying to be with, if they don't like who you are as you, it's not going to work anyway. Anyway, it will not work. Period. And you can only keep that persona up for so long. Believe that.
Yeah, 6 months
Whoever,
at the most.
anybody. Okay. So be authentic. That was Trinae's Carter, Author Trinae's Carter. What's your Facebook page? One Authentic Woman. And how
I'm
can
One
they
Authentic
find
Woman
you?
on Facebook. I am Trinace K. Carter on Facebook. I am One Authentic Woman on Twitter. I am One Authentic Woman on Instagram. I'm One Authentic Woman everywhere.
The One Authentic Woman on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So be sure to follow Trinae. Thank you, love. I appreciate you taking the time to come join us. So we are missing Chastity Chandler. She did not come on again today. So this is going to conclude this final, the absolute final Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's International Webinar. I have been doing this, like I said, for 5 years. We've gone from tours to platforms to webinars, teleconferences, and this is my last year doing so. We have had speakers on from all walks of life, for all parts of the world. The teleconferences have reached as far as Switzerland and South Africa. I just want to take the time to thank every last speaker that I have ever had on this platform over the last 5 years. You all have touched my life. You have touched my audience's life in more ways than one, and I am forever grateful. I have built new relationships from people all over the world because of this platform. I thank everyone who's taken the time and invested in being on the platform today. I am also wearing the shirts that are available for the speakers. I was a dynamic speaker at the 2018 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's Conference. These shirts are available to all the speakers who are interested in getting one. They are $25. All you have to do is reach me, and I will make sure that you get your shirt. There's about a 3 to 5 day turnaround, and you have to pay for your own shipping. But thank you, everyone who's on Zoom, who's on Facebook. This has been the 2018 Change Your Mind, Change Your Life Women's International Webinar. I am Rhonda McAlister, owner of the McAlister Enterprise, and I will see you at the top. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.